Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome back to All In Gambling Addiction and Recovery. Today's video, I'm going to get back to the basics. I know I've covered a lot of topics lately regarding the sports world, and today I felt it's time to go back to the basics and really talk about, am I a compulsive gambler? Do I have a gambling problem? Tell you a little bit more about me, some of the early signs, that I saw within myself. And I think really just get back to the basics of why I started this channel to begin with. So that's really what we're going to talk about is, am I a compulsive gambler? Do I have a gambling problem? So for anyone watching this video, that's what we're going to talk about today. Whether you're concerned about someone in your family, someone you're close to, your spouse, a child, this is going to be some of the foundational things, some of the just basic pieces you're going to be looking into, or more likely, if you're coming here yourself, if you Googled yourself, if you're looking in YouTube, looking for some help, just some basic signs of, do I have a problem? What do I do about it? Then hopefully this video can provide a little bit of help, some support for you. And hopefully, that next steps and, showing you there's a light at the end of the tunnel. As always, all the information shared in this video is from personal experience and opinion. The main goal is to help compulsive gamblers in the recovery. So again, yes, a lot of my time has been spent talking about sports betting, which is, really what, fed and drove a lot of my gambling. I first started betting, heavily back in 2006 going into 2007. So it's about 20 years. Some of my earlier days playing poker with buddies, I think that kind of amped up early on. My interest in betting was, just playing poker. I like playing cards, started beating my buddies in poker, and I thought I was going to be, on the World Series of Poker like we saw on TV. So that got me into, some of the online play. And then that quickly developed into, once the online apps really started getting going, through the years, just betting on anything and the action of it. But just at the very basic level of, just the act of gambling, wondering, am I to the point of, do I have a problem? Some of the basic things to be looking for, because, right, this addiction, this isn't drugs, this isn't alcohol. No one's kicking you away from a bar saying, buddy, you've had too many games. Buddy, whoa, you're falling all over the place. You're drunk. You are high as can be. They're not saying that about gamblers. But you totally are, right? I mean, there are times that I have known, when I'm going on 20 plus hours of gambling, I'm drunk. I'm high as can be. You can be high from euphoria of gambling. You can be, down. You can be hammered. You can be totally drunk, out of your mind because of gambling. But at one of the easiest simplistic levels always comes from the financial side of things. At a very, very simple, easy level of, do I have a problem? Is it causing financial problems? Is gambling causing a change in your finances? That could be an early sign. Yes, maybe this has gone too far. I don't know anybody that's going into gambling saying, I'm here to wreck my finances. I don't know anybody in this world that does anything for any specific reason to wreck their finances, because everyone that I see in this world really seems to care about them. That's something that we talk about all day long. Anytime we elect a president, that seems to be a focal point of how we're going to fix our economy, how we're going to fix the dollars. When you marry someone, when you're dating someone, it's always talked about, well, what's our future going to be like? When you take a job, you're talking about your 401k and your financial future. How much money am I going to make? Money makes the world go round. Money, money, money. It is in songs. It is in the Bible. It is in every aspect of life. It's in movies. Some of my favorite movies involve money. And probably most people that actually like gambling like things surrounded by money. Game shows. What do you win? Money. Wheel of Fortune. Jeopardy. Any of the main shows, you win money. I am drawn to shows like that. I am drawn to movies like Wolf of Wall Street that involve money. It excites me. And that's why gambling can be a simple draw to people, because it does involve money and the aspect of winning. So, everybody goes into gambling thinking at a simple level, well, that's kind of cool. I can go, I can have a good time. Generally, when you first start, you're going with friends, right? I mean, some people are loners. Some people do it as an escape. Don't get me wrong. Not everyone is the same. Everybody is different, especially coming on here. Some people are loners. And I actually, that was me as I got into the height of it. I like betting by myself. I like being away from everybody. I like being alone. I like being in a hotel room by myself gambling. That was me. So, I'm not hating on loners here, because that was totally me as I got into it. But at the start of it, when I started, the first casino I ever went into, which for me was Charlestown down in West Virginia, I went with friends. How much did I take with me? Took a roll of quarters, maybe a $20 bill. So I'm going to say $30. So that didn't feel like a gambling problem to me, right? And I'm pretty sure almost any person that I've come across, myself included, with a gambling problem did not walk into the casino, or did not walk into a bingo hall, or did not walk up to their first scratch-off machine, did not walk in to buy their first lottery ticket, did not make their first bet with $1,000 or $10,000. That was, you're going to have that one random outcast, but 99.5 or 99.9% of people started very normal. It was fun because the world gambles. It's normal. Schools do raffles. Churches do raffles. Basket bingo. It's at carnivals. When I was a child and my grandfather took me to carnivals along with my sister, what did they have at carnivals? They had bingo, and you could win prizes. They had shooting games. They had goldfish games where you could win prizes. It automatically fed you into this thought of, I want to put my money into something. I want to win something. So you're kind of already fed into this. So then you get into this spot. I remember going into Charlestown, and honestly, I'm not really a slots person. I'm the smoking smell. I walked into a couple slot machines. I was more interested in the video poker machines because I like poker. The video poker machines were not like normal poker to me. I wanted to do tables. At that time, they did not have table games when I first started going, which would have been around 2004 time frame. So it was just the slot machines. They did not excite me, but they excite a lot of people. It's the noises. It's the smells. They pump air into every casino, especially the ones, Atlantic City. The lights, the air, the smells, the sound of the machine, the feel of everything. I get it all. It's a powerful experience. Las Vegas, Atlantic City. What happens here stays here. I get it. It's a feel, right? It's a vibe. You're in your spot. Especially when you find that special place. It's a spot. It's a vibe. But when you first go, you don't know what you're doing. You're sitting in a machine, you don't know what you're doing. You're just punching a button. What's this button do? Boing. You crank a machine. What does this do? And someone's always telling you, right? When you first go, you're like, what am I doing? What does this do? What does this do? What does this thing do? You're like, what? Sid the Science Kid. What does this thing do? What does that do? What does this do? And people tell you, oh, you bet this, that's 25 cents. That's 10 cents. Oh, you can double up. That's 50 cents. They tell you these things. Oh, if these things connect and these things connect, you'll be able to hit the bonus round. Oh, if you do this and you do this, you have a chance of winning one of the jackpots. Oh, and these things connect, you're going to get 7 free spins. Or this happens, you get 10 free spins. They explain all this to you, and you're like a 5-year-old, like, wow, this is really cool. And then when it happens for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, I got the free spins. And then you put your quarters in. I remember sitting in a machine, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got 25 free spins off a quarter. And you made like $4 off of it. And you're like, holy cow, that's cool. And you just get used to it. And it's whether you got hooked off of that feeling. What was that feeling? When you heard the bell go off, the first time you heard that bell go off on your machine, what was the sound? What was the feel here in your gut? What was that feeling? Was it a euphoria? Was it a gut feel? Was it something you've never experienced before? Did you feel special? Did you feel special? Because for a lot of people, it is. You hear that bell go off, it's like, I felt pretty special in that moment. Didn't happen to other people at that moment. It happened to me in this moment. In this building of all these people, the machine called me out. I was the winner. And it happens for people when they do a scratch off. I was the winner. It happens when you're in a bingo hall and you win the big jackpot. If it's a coverall, you want to be the person that hits all the numbers and you win that jackpot, that $500, that $1,000, $2,500, and you say bingo, that's euphoria, right? And for me as a sports gambler, the euphoria for me was hitting a parlay. A 3-team parlay. When I hit, winning one game was fun. But when I chose 3 teams or 3 games or 3-point spreads and I hit 1, 2, 3, that was a great feeling. I didn't need a pat on the back, but it was a great feeling. But that first win, that feeling, that gut feeling that you got. My first bet on sports, watching a game, betting $20 on Pepperdine versus Gonzaga in a basketball game, I didn't have the same feeling that I got from sitting in that poker machine or that slot machine. The gut feeling at midnight watching 2 teams play college basketball, and I bet on a 17-point spread on the game, I had this sickness in the feeling in my stomach, in the gut of my stomach. I had this sickness watching the game. My hands were cold. My feet were cold. I was shaking. Over $20. I had $20 on the game. So it wasn't necessarily always the dollar amount. It was the feeling that I got. It was like it was not a panic. It was almost like I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, but it was an excitement. It was a nervous excitement. I got more into this. This game means more to me. This means more to me. Can you relate to this? Anyone that's listening? Anything that you're doing, whether it be any walks of gambling, blackjack, baccarat, roulette, poker, bingo, slot machines, any level of slot machine that you're playing, video poker, keno, scratch-offs, bingo, horse racing, did it mean more to you than just a single spin or single race or single game? It was more in that moment. That, for me, is when I started realizing I had a gambling problem. Because the games meant more. They really did. I liked it. I liked the action. I liked that the games meant more to me. I liked the winning. I also liked the feeling of losing sometimes. It's a weird thing to say, but you almost felt like you should lose sometimes. You felt like what you were doing wasn't necessarily the right thing, and almost like a comeback story in a movie, like, I lost, dang it. Then you're like, you know what? You deserve this. Lose again, lose again, lose again. And almost like you're like, you know what? I'm going to dig a hole, and then you're going to get a big comeback story, big comeback. So I think the feeling, and then the dollar amount. You started at $25, $20, but then look at what is the financial end of this. Did you go from an amount that wasn't much to an amount that started hurting the finances? And that can be different from everyone. You could be listening to this at any point, and you can have an income that is, $2,000 a month is your income. If it hits the income that it makes it difficult to pay your normal bills, it's gotten out of control. If it's caused a problem with your regular bills, then it's caused a problem. You could have an income that's more like $5,000 a month. You could have an income that's $10,000 a month, one that's $30,000 a month. You could be at a level that's $50,000 a month, or even $100,000 a month. You could be at a doctor level, as you get to $100,000 a month, towards $200,000 a month, even $300,000 a month. Gambling does not care about how much you make. All it is another couple zeros, because the bet is only a couple extra zeros. If you only make $2,000 a month and you're spending 20, 30, 40% of that, even 50% of that, possibly even 100% of that on gambling, you've caused problems with your life. In the same aspect, if you make 50 to 100,000 a month and you're spending 30, 40, 50% of that, possibly even 100% of that, you have caused a big problem in your life from a financial side. $5,000, same thing. If you're spending $2,500 a month, up to $5,000 a month, you've put yourself in a financial problem. I'll move on from money. The next is, how often are you thinking about it? How often in a day are you thinking about gambling? That is a very clear sign that differentiates something that is fun and is a hobby versus a level of an addiction. I enjoy going to the gym. I'm hit or miss with it. This New Year's something I'm back at the gym. I'm at a point of going every other day. I think about going to the gym once or twice a day. And I think about it like in the morning. I just told my wife, I need to go to the gym today. And then I just told her this afternoon, I should probably go tonight. I ran out of time earlier. I should go tonight. That's a hobby. Another hobby, could be, it could be anything. Watching movies, spending time with friends, any level of exercising. It could be reading books. It could be playing games. It could be watching a movie, Netflix. It could be anything. How often do you think about those things that are a hobby? I like working out. I thought about it twice today. When I was gambling, it consumed my mind. I thought about gambling nearly every minute of the day because, as I just shared, it was a financial problem. So I spent most of the day thinking about, when could I gamble again? When would I find the time to gamble? When I had a job, when I had a family? When could I free up time? Where could I find the money? How could I get a hold of more money? How could I tell lies? How could I make it all work? What did I do wrong? Why did I get this bet wrong? What do I need to change next time? What should I think about for my next bet? Should I try something different? Should I pick a different game? Should I pick a different sport? It consumed my mind. I would research different games. I would research different lines. It consumed my mind for nearly the entire day. That's not a hobby. That became more than even a full-time job. If it consumes your mind that you're thinking about it more than just a couple times a day, to the point that it distracts everything else that you're doing, it gets to the level of it's a problem. So the thought process, as well as the financials, Those are two items. And I'm going to go back to what I said right in the middle there. Are you starting to lie? Are you starting to come up with excuses of you can't be somewhere? Are you telling a boss, I have to be late? Are you telling a professor or a teacher, I can't make it? Are you telling your wife, I have to work late? I have to be at this work event. I'm going to have to stay late, or I'm going to have to get a hotel. I got this assignment I didn't realize I was going to have to do. I'm going to stay here. If you work on the road, I got called, extra visit I didn't realize. I'm going to have to work with this customer. I'm going to be out an extra night or two. Or, I got to help my parents do this. I got to help a friend do this. Are you lying? And are you making up lies? Are you thinking about lies? Are you thinking about possibly lying to find ways to gamble? Because people that are problem gamblers lie, and they think about ways to get money. They think about ways to get money, and they think about lying. I know it. I've done these things. To the point that you actually start believing your lies. You'll lie to the point that you're starting to believe your lies. Next is, you may borrow. You might get so desperate that you're borrowing money. In some cases, selling things, borrowing, getting to that kind of point. Those are some of the key aspects. Another, is your sleep affected? That is, a key sign. You know what time you should probably go to sleep based on what time you have to get up for work, for school, take care of kids. If you're an early morning person that likes to get up, that's your routine for working out, for reading, to start your day. You know your normal routine. Have you broken your normal routine? Maybe you're listening, you're in the medical field, you're called in to be important, to be taking care of patients. Are you staying up late? Are you up? You normally fall asleep at 9 or 10 o'clock, but you're staying up till midnight, maybe 1 a.m., maybe 2 a.m., maybe betting on your phone, maybe in a casino, maybe even pushing until 3 or 4 a.m., maybe even all night. And maybe you're not just betting. Maybe you're up thinking about lies, or maybe you're up worrying about finances, all those things I talked about before. Are you not sleeping well? Another key sign. And finally, are all of these things added together causing you stress and anxiety and making you think of negative thoughts about yourself and your situation and not knowing what to do? The stress, the anxiety, the worry, is that all part of your situation? Because something that's a hobby, that's not stressful. Going to the gym for me, that's not stressful. Something that I do, makes me feel good. You watch a good Netflix documentary, that should make you, you're like, wow, that was an interesting show. Playing with your kids, you're going out, you're enjoying something, that's not stressful. If it's worked past that point and you're stressed and you're anxious, you're not sure what's going to happen next, it's growing past that to a problem. And I hope this helps. I'm being very direct about all these things because I've experienced all of it. Because all of those are telltale signs of someone that has a gambling problem. All of it leads to someone feeling very negative about themselves, someone that is in a dangerous spot, someone that needs help, someone that is suffering from a gambling disease, someone that just needs someone to come by their side and say, I got you. because there is help and there is hope. I've been where you've been. If you're feeling any of those things that I just talked about, the financial aspect, the time aspect, the lies, the stress, the sleep, all of it, that's all part of something that can lead you down a dark path, a path of destruction and devastation. But guess what? It can also be a lesson learned and something that helps shape your future. It's a lesson I had to learn. You will get to hear my story on this channel, but for me, it helped shape my future. It helped me understand and learn about myself and learn about strength and resilience. And sometimes the chapters of your life and the stories of your life, you got to go through some ugly parts to get through them to the most beautiful parts. So if you're in that moment right now, don't settle. Don't say, well, this is where I am, I'm giving up. You don't give up, because there's a lot of hope. Find yourself a meeting, find yourself some help. First of all, talk to somebody. You can message me on this channel. Talk to someone. There's a lot of meetings out there. There's a lot of hope. But recognize you got to open up, find yourself some help, and it's actually something that can turn into a most beautiful part of your life by accepting that help. That's all I got for today. Stay strong, win the day, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.